Hi there, guys. So we're on to another pick a card reading. Today is going to be an ancestor reading. So we're going to get any messages that can come through from your ancestors. And, I feel like this is important because sometimes we forget to consult our ancestors, and our ancestors are actually around a lot and helping us out a lot. So I just think today would be a good day to sort of acknowledge our ancestors and see what they have to say. So today is going to be an oracle only reading. I just didn't feel the need to use tarot, so we're just going to be using oracle, and I feel like we will get the information needed from just using the oracle. So we have several different topics we're going to get through today, and I'm quickly going to run through those so you can see if this reading is an interest to you. So we're going to start off with how do they feel about what's going on in your life right now. We're just pulling a simple door card for that one, but that will still give us an idea of what they're feeling about how things are for you right now and your current situation. And then we're going to get into some specifics. So what are they concerned about? And then what are they happy about and proud of? And then we're also going to see if they can give us any information on an upcoming challenge that you may be facing, and also, as well as an upcoming blessing or opportunity. And then to end up the reading today, we're going to get into an advice card that I have from a very beautiful deck, which has amazing insight and messages within it. So we're going to get into that as your final card. So you guys know how this works. We've got 3 piles. And the timestamps are down in the description box as well as the comment section. So I'm going to give you guys now some time to meditate on your piles, and I will see you at your chosen pile and timestamp. Hi, Pile 1. So welcome to your ancestor reading. So the door card that you have here, it says offerings, abundance lies in the heart that allows, share more than expected and see love come around. Wow. So, already I think your ancestors are acknowledging that there can be some opportunities or offerings in your life happening right now. Abundance is around you. I'm sort of feeling like right around the corner. But it says in the heart that allows. So your ancestors are really talking about you being open to these offerings, open to these opportunities, and embracing your current situation and what is going on for you right now. And then it says share more than expected and see love come around. So I feel like your ancestors too are saying perhaps this is more of a time to give in order to receive. Do you know what I mean? So it's that 50-50. So it's almost this could be in terms of karmic sort of situations as well, where we do good deeds and then the good deeds are sort of returned to us. So that is there as well. And your picture on your card, we have someone here, of course, in meditation. So I do feel like, perhaps this is a time of meditation for you guys as well. It might be really helpful for you, or you may already be doing a lot of meditating. I'm hearing like binaural beats might be helpful for some of you guys, or something that just sort of puts you in a bit of a deep, I don't want to necessarily say trance, but just some kind of deep state where you can really connect more to your ancestors and connect more with your inner self as well. And that's going to help guide you forward and perhaps, also give you a bit more information about these offerings that are coming through for you guys and the abundance. that can possibly lie ahead here. But again, it's about you guys, understanding the give and the take as well. And that it's obviously not just about, we don't just get blessings given to us, without anything on our part. You know what I mean? So, yeah, so that's your card, pile one. So let's get into some specifics with your ancestors. Okay, pile one. So we're getting started here with what are they concerned about? What are your ancestors concerned about in regards to your life right now? So we have 3 cards at the top here, some animal cards, and then I have the clarifiers down the bottom. So we're starting off with the card Fear with hyena, and we have that clarified here by chance. So for me, guys, I feel like you might be in a bit of a state of fear right now. You might be acting from a place of fear. And, by looking at this fear card, if we look at it, there's the two worlds kind of almost blend into each other, yet there is a sort of distinctive line between the two. But it's not a literal line. Does that make sense? There's no rope, there's no barriers there, there's no fencing or anything like that in this picture, right? So essentially one can just, make that, change over into the other worlds. They can switch worlds, right? And so I feel like you guys have got yourselves trapped in a bit of fear right now. And, I don't doubt that you guys will want to be on the other side, and it may be that situation of like, you guys feeling like everything, when people say the grass is greener on the other side, and you may be well aware of that, but there's some kind of fear here that is trapping you, that is stopping you from moving forward. And, people sometimes, we can talk about fear and say that it can be quite debilitating. It can, sort of paralyze us. And, we may be well aware that this is the issue, but it's still really difficult to move forward and to break free from this kind of fear thinking or whatever it is that you guys are going through right now. With this chance card too as the confirmation for this fear, I feel like you guys are scared to take a chance on things right now. There's a fear around what happens if I react to something, what happens if I take a chance on something, if I act on something, if I move towards something. And, yes, in life there's a bit of a 50-50, we can go towards something and sometimes we're not always sure how it's going to work out, if in fact it will work out. But, staying trapped in this fear, your ancestors want to say that they're concerned right now because this living in fear, this being trapped in fear is stopping you from reaching the other side here, from stepping into what could be, a lot of maybe an abundant time for you. And we did have, with this offering card that we started off with, abundance lies in the heart that allows. So fear is really trapping you guys right now, and it's stopping you from moving forward into what really could be something quite magical for you guys, something abundant, something that, could really turn your guys' life around right now. But it's about you guys taking a chance. And I do believe on this card here, it says Darwin's awkward. Darwin's orchid, right? And I believe this is like a comet, I would say. It looks more like a comet, doesn't it, in the sky? But what I always think when I see this card is I do think about shooting stars, and I think about how we make a wish, on a shooting star. And so, I feel like, in one way, it's like I feel like you guys maybe have been wishing for a change and a chance, or to take a chance on something, like you've been wishing for a certain opportunity or a certain offering or something to come through. And it's like the ancestors saying, we want to help give you this. We want to work with the universe. We want to work with your spirit guides. We want to, we want to try and offer this to you and bring this to you. But, we can only do so much. And if you're going to stay in this fear thinking, in this fear, this paralyzed sort of, it's almost like an Eight of Swords energy. And I know I said I wasn't going to bring tarot into this, but this could be limiting beliefs, in your own mind that are stopping you from moving forward with this fear. But this could also just, again, that feeling of entrapment and, thinking, that, and a lot of the things too that I want to say about fear thinking, a lot of it is invalid thought, right? Because we do tend to snowball things. We tend to build things up. And, it's like my mum used to love saying all these old sayings, but one of the things she used to love to say was, don't make a mountain out of a molehill, right? Seeing as we're talking about ancestors, my mum and dad have passed. So, but, and so, don't make a mountain out of a molehill. So, it's that thing, isn't it, where we can really build something up to be something that it's not. And, that can work too, sometimes in terms of, where we get over expectant about something and we build it up to be something, and then we're let down because, we sort of had, we built it up too much, a little too much in our minds. But that also works with fear as well. And we can do that to the point where we are actually, hindering our chance of success or having, new beginnings and new opportunities come through for us. So, and it's hard sometimes for us to realize where we are doing that in our lives, and where we are sort of maybe overthinking something too much, or where we are putting that little bit too much of a worry or a fear in ourselves in regards to moving forward. But if you are able to notice where you're doing that, that's your first start, I feel like, in moving out of this, fear thinking. Once you start acknowledging these things and saying, I started realizing when this is happening now, then you can start working towards, removing that thought pattern. But your ancestors are concerned right now because there are things coming towards you guys, I feel like, and they want you to be able to be ready to take this chance to be, in that receiving pose, right? With your hands out, like, yes, I'm ready to receive. But, and it's actually interesting, and I want to take another look. Can I see or not very well? Yeah, you can't really see. But it's making me, I was looking at your door card, sorry guys, but it's making me think of, we used to do a thing. So I used to work in hospitality, right? And I worked at a hotel running conferences and events. And, one of the things that they teach you in hospitality, as far as like your etiquette and all that sort of stuff goes, and what I used to always sort of get on with my staff about too, was we are meant to be really approachable, of course, to any of the guests and conference delegates and organizers and clients, all that kind of stuff, right? And sometimes, we'd be put into these positions where we would be, for instance, right, we'd have this big awards dinner, let's say, okay? And, there would be a heap of speeches to where we were told sometimes that, they didn't want any service. But of course, if any of the guests did, want something from us, we'd have to be in the room, right? Just so that we can be there, but we'd be hidden at the back, so that we're like, okay, if anybody needed anything, we can go to them and they can get our attention. But one of the things that was easy that my staff used to do like all the time, and I'm not denying that I didn't do it at the start, but then I would tell myself like, no, like, stop doing this, was they would stand, and it would start annoying me. It was a bit of one of my pet peeves at the end when when my staff were doing it a lot, was sort of crossing their arms and standing at the back. And I would walk up to them and I'd say, I get that you're not really doing anything right now. And so you're sort of like, hanging back, you've got your arms crossed. I said, but that really doesn't look good, to the guests or to the organizer or anything, because you really look like you're kind of a bit pissed off, to be honest, and not very approachable, right? Or that you just don't give a crap. And I said, that's not obviously the impression that we want to give here. We want to seem like, we're ready to assist them or to, do anything that they need right now. We are here to be hospitable, right? So I said, like, can you just put your arms down, stop crossing your arms? And so I kind of feel like that, that thing here too. It's like Spirit wants your hands out in that receiving position, but you're kind of sitting there with your arms crossed, or that again, it's that fear thing of like, but what if I put my arms down? What if I put my hands out to receive? And that's maybe the scary part for you guys right now. But there is a need, I feel like, for your ancestors to, for you to, really get rid of this fear. And I know, yes, easier said than done, but to move into this time of abundance that I feel like is coming through for you guys, and your ancestors are really sort of like, it's almost like me, right? How I would go up to the stuff and go, how many times, guys? Arms down, arms down. And I feel like your ancestors are a little bit like, how many times, guys? Please, just we need you to get rid of that fear thinking, and know that your ancestors are in support of you, that they are around you and behind you right now. So there's no need for you guys to really be stuck in this fear as much, because they are protecting you moving forward. They are with you, and whatever happens, whatever is ahead of you guys, they are there with you. So you're not alone through this. And that's another thing, that can be scary for us, is that feeling that we're alone. But you're never alone, okay? And especially not right now. Your ancestors are with you, okay? So we also have here happiness with dolphin. Oh, and I did want to say, sorry, guys, that there's a number 38 there. Some of you may be 38. But that number can just, be relevant to you somehow. So that's there. But we also have happiness with dolphin. I did feel like, sorry guys, I paused for a minute because I thought I was getting something with that 38, but no. So happiness, dolphin. So we have the number 42 here as well. And of course that breaks down to a 6. So 6 might be something for you guys. But we do have that confirmed here by depth. And I think that's interesting too, because in the dolphin card here, we have, of course, the sea with the, sort of illusion of being able to, not an illusion, but being able to see, underneath the water and see above as well. And I feel like with that underwater, that's sort of where this depth comes in. So, and I notice here too that the lady here that is on the dolphin appears to be pregnant. So I, take this to sort of mean sometimes too about the birthing of something. So it's sort of like, this could be a project. This could be something that you're working on, something that's going to bring you happiness, something that you are that's going to come from you. So this is talking about happiness coming from you, right? Something that you've birthed, or if it's not a necessarily like a fully tangible thing, where it's like I said, a project or even a literal child. This is just you being at the source of your own happiness. Does that make sense? Yeah. And I feel like here with the depth card, your ancestors really want you to dig deep, to dive deep, right? To find this happiness. And I think, for some of you, maybe you're looking a little too much on just the surface and not really diving down to figure out what it is that's truly going to make you guys happy in moving forward with your life, or what's going to make you happy right now. Because sometimes, we can think too much about the future as well. And I do want to bring that back to that fear card as well. If you are too much into the past and too much into the future, then you're not really focusing on the present moment. And that too can lead us to also missing, offerings, opportunities and taking a chance on things, but also it can add to that fear because we think about where we've been and we go, well, I don't want to repeat some of the things that I've been through. And so that puts fear into us, but then we can also think too much about what's ahead and what the outcome might be or what can unfold. And that too can lead to that fear thinking. So it's really important to be in that present moment as well. But with this depth card, I do feel like, Spirit is really wanting you to really get to the bottom of something here and, not just skim the surface. So, and I'm kind of being shown someone who's just, throwing those skimming stones, and they're sort of just really quickly like plopping along the top of the water, but you're not digging deep here, you're not diving deep into what it is here that's really going to make you happy. And, and I feel like too, your ancestors are saying to me that it's like that thing where, we say like, ask the universe for what you want, right? And it is that thing. We do sort of grow up sometimes where we think that we don't have a right to want things, right? And yes, I do believe that we should be lucky for what we have and there should be gratitude shown and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not necessarily sitting here saying, I want, $1 million. I want, a Porsche. I want, this, and this, and just demanding stuff, right? But this is about like, the knowing that it's okay to actually ask for what you want in general, something that is, speaks to you, that is on a soul level, that is, for your highest good, of course, because if we're talking about other things, like I said, wanting all this material stuff and, it does nothing for you personally or your spiritual growth or, it's not good for you or it's affecting others around you or something, of course, those kinds of things, I don't feel like, when we ask for those or if we were to ask for those, they wouldn't be granted. But what does get granted is things that, again, they're on a soul level. They are for our highest good. They vibrate at our level that we're at currently and all that kind of stuff, and I think the universe takes that into account. But I think with your ancestors here, they're saying that too, like, it's kind of like, we can't help you if you're not going to figure out what it is that you really want and where you're headed and what, your path is right now. And I know there's probably a fear in that too for some of you, of sitting down and actually thinking about what is it that's going to make me happy. Because once I figure that out, well, then the next step is taking action, right? And that's the fear part that's coming in, right? Because you guys are kind of fearing taking that chance, right? Moving ahead. But your ancestors is saying, like, we really want to help you with that. We really want to, back you on this. But if you're not going to tell us exactly what it is or figure out for yourself what it is that's going to make you happy, and then aim to sort of head in that direction, where I feel like it's kind of like we're just swimming around the waters, right? With nowhere to go, no direction. We're just sort of swimming in circles or, and then they're just kind of saying like, we don't know where you're headed unless you start sort of diving deep and figuring this out. So your ancestors really want you to figure out what it is right now that's going to make you happy. And I feel like for some of you too, it may be in conjunction with this fear that you guys aren't feeling very happy right now. There may be an unhappiness. And spirit, your ancestors, which, a lot of your ancestors here may actually be some of your spirit guides right now, but which is why I said that, but I feel like, they want you to dive into what is making you unhappy and what will make you happy. So for some of you, it's about sort of, acknowledging what's not working right now, what isn't making you happy, working on that fear thinking, and then moving on to what does make you happy or what you would like to experience in your life, where you would like to head, that you think is going to bring you the happiness and that change that's desperately needed, I feel like, right now in your life right now, that they really want you to head towards. Because your ancestors, right, they want you to be happy. They don't want to see you in this state of fear. They don't want to see you unhappy, right? They want to see you flourishing. They want to see you, making the most of your life. So they really want you to focus on those things right now. And we also have the card here of change with chameleon. Now, the thing about chameleons, of course, they can change colors and stuff. They can adapt to their surroundings in terms of being quite camouflaged. And, I feel like that's something that, your ancestors really would like for you to be able to do, is to be more adaptable, to be more, again, open to what is coming to you. And again, it's letting go of that fear thinking. And I'm hearing a thing in my head now where it's like, I don't know what that line is. They used to say it sometimes, but it's like, when you want to do something or be something, it's like you've got to think in that way. Does that make sense? I don't know. It's like, for instance, if you wanted to be, I don't know, if you were pretending to be an animal or something, right? And we have the chameleon here, right? It's kind of like, well, how, say for instance, you're in a, or maybe we'll do it this way. You're in a play, right? For instance, okay, you're in a play, you're acting, you're doing something. Now, in order to become the person that you are acting, the role that you're taking on, you really need to think like that person, right? So, for instance, if you're playing, somebody who is, I don't know, maybe someone who is a businessman, right? But you never really sort of worked in a corporate job. Maybe, you're an artistry, and you're an artist kind of person. You do artist stuff, you paint, you sculpture, I don't know, you make music, whatever you do. So maybe there's no real connection there to, being in the corporate world. But in order for you to play that role, you've kind of got to, adapt and sort of take that on and go, okay, how do I think like a corporate person? How do I think like a businessman? How do I act like a businessman? And sort of take that on. And so I feel like your ancestors are kind of saying, maybe you need to embrace some of that right now, to make yourself more adaptable for the changes and the transformations that are going to be happening, or that are already happening in your life right now, if that makes sense. And we do have readiness here as a confirmation for that. And so I feel like, yeah, I just got the high pitch in my right ear. So definitely your ancestors are agreeing with me here that you need to be, they want you to be ready to experience the new. And, being ready can mean a lot of different things. It can be, actually preparing yourself for what's ahead, literally. So, if there's something that you want to work towards, again, if you figured out what it is that you want to head towards, it's going to make you happy. And that there's certain steps you need to take that can be, a literal preparing, getting ready for that. If there's paperwork that needs to be done or something. For instance, if you, one of the things is you want to travel, maybe you need to, organize some paperwork there. Things like that, but it's also in the sense of just, again, that embracing, that just opening up yourself, unfolding those arms like I talked about, right? And just having them by your side and going, okay, I'm ready to move forward, and I'm ready for this change. So your ancestors really want to acknowledge that right now, that they're worried right now in general just about how you are dealing with your current situation in terms of the changes and transformations that are already either happening or about to happen. And, these are good things too, because, we do have happiness here. We do have, I feel like, happy from this chameleon card as well. I'm kind of looking at the sky here. It looks like sparks and things flying off in the sky. So that makes me think of like fireworks and things like that. I mean, there's keys here to happiness, to fun, to good things. I mean, look at the spear card. Even with that, on the right hand side, this beautiful pink sky and the beautiful green grass. I mean, guys, there is so much that you could be experiencing right now, that is coming to you. You guys just need to be open and ready for it. And so your ancestors are a little bit worried right now about how you're still in that fear thinking, or that state of fear at moving forward. But, they really want you guys to do your best to move out of that, so that you can be in that state of, receiving the good things that are to come. So let's move on to the next part. What are your ancestors happy about, and what are they proud of? So the next section, and we are on to what are your ancestors happy about in your life right now? What are they proud of? And we have the card here of companionship, and that is clarified by visualization. So, companionship, I think you guys are someone that is very loyal. I think, you're definitely like that man's best friend. And I think that your ancestors really want to acknowledge that loyalty within you. And, I think that I'm feeling like too that you guys have sort of kept a strong idea about the people that you want to have around you. I feel like with this visualization card, I think you have a good idea now of who you want in your circle and who you're looking for in life. If you haven't found, if you don't have, anyone in your life right now in terms of, perhaps romance or a lifelong partner or something, again, take this as it resonates, guys. Not everybody wants a lifelong partner. Not everybody believes in things like marriage and all that kind of stuff. So it's up to you. Make it fit your situation. And this could just be a friend, right? This could be in terms of just a friend. But I feel like you guys, do have an idea. And she's got the bow and arrow here. So I feel like you guys have kind of almost got that target that you're heading towards. And you know what it is that you want now out of a relationship with somebody, whether it be platonic or romantic. And, I do think that, they're acknowledging the person that you've become as well. And, saying that you are worthy of, someone else's time and love and all that sort of stuff, that whoever you come into contact with, they are lucky as well to have you in their life, because they see the loyalty and the genuine person, I feel like, that you have become and that you are in essence. And I was in the park the other day, and where I live, we have a lot of dogs in our street. So where I live, I basically just at the end of my street, there's a park, and then to go through the park across the road, there's a little supermarkets and things like that. But so like everybody's always traveling back and forth through the park to go get groceries or do whatever they've got to do, right? But during this time, of course, people take their dogs for a walk, and so there's a lot of dogs in our street. There's a lot of cats too, but so people take their dogs for a walk, and I'm always conversing as I sit on the park bench and, hello, how are you? And the dogs always want to come up and they want to pat and they're so friendly. But there was a dog the other day, literally, and she just sort of came out of nowhere, and then her owner was sort of, walking behind, and she came up to me and she was just so friendly. I'm a greyhound, actually. And she was just so friendly. And the lady said, she just wants to be everybody's best friend. She said, I hope you don't mind dogs. And I said, no, I love dogs. And so I was giving her a big pat. But yeah, very, very friendly. And then she just went off to the next person, like, oh, another person, hello. And then wanted, the attention from them. So I feel like, you guys might resonate with that as, that sort of being, in essence, parts of who you are. And I do think that your ancestors are really sort of acknowledging you for being that person. And, And yeah, so I think that's a nice thing. And I do feel like here we have authenticity as your second card. Sorry, guys, too. I keep forgetting about the numbers. We have 41 on this card as well. So that may mean something to you guys. But that also breaks down to a 5. Um, and 5 is change too, right? So there could be some changes happening in your relationship zone coming up as well. And this could be to do with this visualization as well. Maybe you're manifesting in the background just simply by, again, like I spoke about before, about sort of asking the universe for what you want, right? And maybe, and sometimes we do, we manifest, in our subconscious. And so, just by constantly thinking about certain things, or having those sort of desires, we can manifest. And perhaps that's what some of you guys have been doing as well. So this could be, for some of you guys as well, and maybe one of the blessings or the offerings that your ancestors are wanting to give you, and that's wanting to come through, is you guys having that loyal friend or that loyal partner, or whoever it is coming through for you guys that sort of matches your energy. So I'm feeling like the more you focus on that, again with the bow and arrow, thinking of the target, right? This is coming for you guys. But with this authenticity card, obviously, your ancestors, I feel, really want to acknowledge and are proud of the fact that through whatever you've been through, you guys have stayed true to who you are. And I think, again, that works with that companionship, that loyalty with the dog there. I think you guys have really stuck true to your essence and your sense of self. And you haven't sort of been swayed by that. And I think your ancestors are very proud of you in that regard. And, I'm seeing this person here, who is being faced with this really big wolf, right? And I'm kind of feeling like I'm getting a sense of like a pack of wolves. And you may have been through that kind of a situation, metaphorically, like a pack of wolves sort of standing around you, but yet you've stayed true to who you are. And you may have, it's like swimming with the sharks, right? You may have had a lot of people that haven't vibrated at your same level of energy, or haven't really connected with you on a soul level, or even might have even been toxic people, or they may have been people that were placed in your life to challenge you, or to start you on that path of spiritual growth, or to help you ascend. Might have been even karmic situations or something like that, whatever it was. But I feel like no matter what you've gone through in life, no matter what you've experienced, no matter what you've done, you've stayed true to who you are. And it's confirmed here by this perseverance card. And so I feel like your ancestors are just really proud of the fact that, despite everything, you're determined to stay you and to move forward. Because I think there's a knowing. Again, I'm going back to this. They're drawing me back to this visualization card, and I think there's an inner knowing in you that your soul tribe is out there somewhere, if you haven't found them yet, or that there are people out there like you, and that there are people out there that also will appreciate the real you. And I think that despite the differences that you may have had with others, or again, some situations that you may have been through that may have wanted to sway you in other directions, or maybe where you might have even gone through a challenge, perhaps, where you may have felt the need to adapt or to change yourself in order to fit in, or to make a certain situation easier on yourself. But I feel like you really have stood strong in you, and therefore, your ancestors really want to acknowledge that, and the fact that, after everything, you are still you. And I'm hearing they're telling me that you should be proud of yourself for that. So that's really, really great. And then we have the number 17 there as well, which breaks down to an 8. 8 makes me think of infinity. And again, I just think like you guys just, you're, I think it's the one of the things here that, you guys have a really strong sense of self. And I think that's a beautiful thing, because when we know who we are, it makes it, I mean, I don't want to say it necessarily makes things easier moving forward, but I think, we're in a better position, I think, sometimes than the people that still don't really understand themselves, or they're afraid to see themselves and in the truth and the light. And you guys may have even been through quite a bit of shadow work as well to get to this point of authenticity. But, again, your ancestors are acknowledging this and saying, hey, good job, pat on the back, right? Like, they really think you should pat yourself on the back. Now, we do have the ancestors card here. So they are definitely here in this reading, because we do have the confirmation with this card. And we also have achievement underneath it as well. So I feel like, in one part, I think your ancestors, again, they're acknowledging what you've been through and the achievements you've made thus far. And I think for some of you, the ancestors are saying you don't praise yourself enough for what you've done to get to where you're at. And it's so easy for us to do that, right? And I talked about this in a previous reading, and I'll talk about it again. It's sometimes that thing where we just don't see how far we've come, because sometimes too, we can go through so many things at once that we don't have a moment's peace to even review what's going on and how we adapted or how we took on certain challenges and things like that. And so we move on to the next and the next and the next, without sort of giving ourselves that pat on the back for saying, like, hey, good job, or whew, we made it through, we're on to the next bit now, and we don't often stop to acknowledge that. But your ancestors are definitely acknowledging that you've been through, a lot, I feel, for some of you. So you may have really gone through some shadow work, or you may have just been through a negative period. I don't like saying negative. Going through a challenging time, right, in your life. And, but, you've achieved a lot. There's a lot that you have achieved. And I think your ancestors are kind of saying, you don't see that in yourself enough. You don't look back, not look back in the sense of not moving on from the past or anything like that, but just seeing, how far you've come, and seeing, what you went through that's gotten you to where you are, because you really should be proud of that for yourself. And, I feel like some of these situations, perhaps, that you've been through as well, could have been brought on by some of your ancestors. I do feel like sometimes the ancestors do like to send us little tests and challenges in order for us to grow, to evolve, to, ascend, right? And it's not just ancestors, of course. It can be our spirit guides. It can be the universe. But also, too, we often accept a lot of challenges and ways to spiritual growth before we come to the physical, right? And so sometimes too, we're not aware of it, but it's things that we've actually decided that we wanted to put ourselves through in order to get to a certain state of being, right? But your ancestors are really proud of you right now. So take this and pat yourselves on the back for, again, staying true to who you are, for the achievements you've made thus far, and, again, for being a loyal person. And I do feel like this is a part of what's coming up for you guys as well, is some kind of like companion, or someone loyal, someone that you can trust, someone that you can really connect with on a soul level, be platonic or romantic or whatever kind of relationship you guys would be happy to accept into your life right now. So we're going to move on to the next bit. This is really great, guys. Your ancestors are happy and proud of these things, so do pat yourselves on the back, and let's move on to the next. Okay, so we are on pile one to the next section, which is an upcoming challenge that your ancestors wanted to let you know about for the near future. So the main challenge you guys got was life purpose with Amazonite. And this card is clarified by the card with self-expression and divine feminine. So I think this is absolutely perfect because it works with what we've been talking about. So I do feel like a challenge coming up is, and I did talk about with that happiness card, about you guys really figuring out what it is that's going to make you happy, what it is that you really want to do with your life if you haven't figured that out already. Considering this life purpose card is making an appearance, I would say that perhaps you guys are in lieu with that a bit right now, where you want to head next, where, you know, your new path is, or your life path in general. And, you know, we do have the card self-expression here. So I do feel like, you know, your life purpose does have something about self-expression within it. So, you know, this can be, of course, there's many avenues I could talk about here, guys, in regards to that. You might be an artist and, you know, you paint, you know, about your feelings and emotions. You might be a singer and you sing about, you know, the experiences, life experiences you've been through. You might be, you know, some kind of other artist that, you know, does some kind of self-expression there in their art. And then, of course, you know, the obvious is to go for art, but we don't have to go for art. It can be anything else as well that speaks to you as a person and that really comes from your soul, that resonates to you on a soul level, and allows you to really show who you are, right? And bring that out to the world. So, are there elephants? I think there's elephants on this card. I've never noticed that before. That's interesting. Yeah. Elephants make me think of family. And the fact that elephants never forget. Yeah, but I feel like this is, with the water element here, you know, this is talking about emotions as well, right? Because the water in you know, tarot, for instance, is all about the emotions. So I definitely feel like this is something quite emotional for you guys. In regards to your life purpose, when you do figure it out, I feel like this is something, and this could be something that you're well aware of. You might already know what your life purpose is, but we did talk about this fear thinking, right? So you guys may be in that, you know, environment right now where you're feeling like, oh, I know what I've got to do, or I know what I want to do, but I'm so hesitant at moving forward with it. But, you know, I feel like if it's something that is coming from your heart, if it's something that's really connected to your soul, you can't go wrong. Again, it goes back to that authenticity card as well. You know, when we are honest with ourselves, when we are true to ourselves, you know, there's no wrong, really. Because we're being ourselves, we're being who we're meant to be. We're acting from a place of love. We're acting from, you know, we're being guided by our souls, by our intuition, and you can't go wrong with that. So, you know, I do feel like, you know, that's the same situation here in regards to your life purpose. And I'm seeing with the water here, how it's flowing, is to go with the flow, right? Your ancestors are acknowledging here, you know, it's also about going with the flow. With the divine feminine here as well, of course, the divine feminine represents the emotions, you know, the heart over the head, right? So again, I do feel like this is something that, you know, perhaps is coming from your divine feminine. For some of you, I feel like there's a need to tap in more to this divine feminine side of yourselves. I think you may be, for some of you, too much in the divine masculine, and your ancestors are wanting you to tap more into this divine feminine. We have the moon card here as well. The moon written on this card here as well. So, and again, that makes me think of emotions and things, but you guys may be very connected to the moon and the moon's cycles. So that may be something to pay attention to as well, because sometimes our emotions can be very connected. I know for me, my emotions are quite connected to the moon and its cycles as well, and I do have a Pisces moon, so in my chart. So we have the number 10 here, which also breaks down to a 1. Again, that's the divine. Okay. And we have 26 here again, breaking down to an 8. And what I'm hearing now is, because I'm thinking about, how I said 8 was infinity, and reminded me of infinity and how we've got these. And again, the elephants here are making me think of your family, your ancestors, right? But it's that never forgetting thing that kind of relates to the infinity. And I feel like perhaps for some of you, this is a life purpose that you're rediscovering. So for some of you, I feel like maybe this is something that you did in a past life. Maybe this is something that you started in a past life, and you're needing to continue on this journey in this life. So some of you, this may be something that you are quite familiar with, perhaps, on a subconscious level, but this is something maybe that you're revisiting. Or this could also be something connected to your ancestors. So maybe this life purpose is something that your ancestors, were really talented in, or really good at. So maybe you might want to, sit down and have a think about, the things that your ancestors have done. And for instance, just as an example with me, my grandfather played piano, and I never really, I don't know why. I don't know. I was really young. My grandfather passed away. This is on my mum's side. Passed away when I was like 10 years old. So I didn't get a lot of time with my grandpa. But I do know that he played really good piano. And I believe he used to do he was that pianist guy that used to do sometimes like the jazz piano and stuff in restaurants or something like that, I think. Don't quote me on that. I don't know. But I never really heard him play, to be honest. But I was always told that he was really, really good. And I guess, like I said, he passed away when I was 10. So I guess up to that point, I never really thought of asking him if he would play for me. But I do remember when I was a kid, he did give me a Casio keyboard for Christmas one time, and that was like the best thing ever, and I loved my Casio keyboard. And the thing that's really, like, I've had other keyboards moving on in my life, and the thing is, I've not once decided to go get piano lessons or anything, and for all I know, I could actually maybe have taken some of that on from my grandfather, and I can actually, probably be quite reasonable at playing piano, but I haven't given myself that chance. And, but this is what I'm talking about. This is my example. Maybe if you look back into your family history, you can see that there's certain things that your family has excelled at, or things that they've done, and you think, well, maybe I might be good at that, or maybe there's something that's been passed on, through the generations to me, or rather to you. So, maybe that might be something to think about as well. See if I'm getting anything else from this for you guys before we move on to the next bit. But yeah, so I mean, this is a challenge we're talking about here. So I do feel like, this is about you guys really needing to figure out what it is. You may be being called upon right now to embrace your life purpose, or to take that next step towards your life purpose. Again, we did talk about being in that state of fear, and that may be what's holding you back right now from being able to embrace this, to do this. And so that could be the challenge for you guys right now. And your ancestors are really wanting you to rise above that, and to do your best to overcome those things like the fear, in order to, come into this life purpose and really embrace and do and be who you're meant to be. And you've already, taken one of those steps in the right direction, I feel like, by staying true to yourself, right? And we have that card of authenticity. So this is just more about you guys, running with that and continuing on in that same vein, and embracing, more of what you're here to do and be. So let's get on to the next part, which is about your blessings and opportunities that may be coming up for you. So let's see what the ancestors have to say about that. Okay, so for your upcoming blessing that's coming through from your ancestors, we have hematite with grounding, and that's clarified here by the cleansing card, as well as the angel and spirit guides card. So the blessing here, I think, is that, you guys are going to be coming into a period of grounding where you're going to be more in the present moment. And I did talk before about, with that fear, sometimes, it's about we're, stuck in the past, or we're looking too far into the future to where it's sort of, freaking us out about what could be coming ahead. And I did talk about, how important it is sometimes to just be aware in the now and be in that present moment. So I feel like one of the blessings that your ancestors are helping you with, and that's coming through right now, is grounding for you guys, just in order to put you into that present moment. Also, so that you can be ready to receive those opportunities, the offerings that are coming through for you guys. And, you can not miss out on anything, right? We do have the card of cleansing here as well. So I do feel like, your ancestors are acknowledging here that there is some cleansing that needs to happen. So in order to help this could help ground you as well. You may be working on some rituals in order to do that. In the sense of grounding rituals may be happening. Maybe you're going to take some time outside in nature. A good way to do grounding is to get outside, put your feet in the ground, like literally take your shoes off, connect with nature, connect with Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, right? Put your feet in the ground. Imagine roots coming out from your feet into the ground. You're rooting yourself in the ground. And, imagine yourself really a part of the world that we live in, a part of nature. And by doing that, that can really help to ground us and to bring us into the now. If you're into chakras, you may be working on your root chakras and things like that are also attached to grounding. And for others of you, again, this may be releasing some things to, cleansing out your energy fields. Ways to do that, of course, smudging. You may want to keep some black crystals around you. We have black tourmaline here on this card in particular. Black tourmaline is really good for negative energies. And it's important too, when we get to know crystals and things as well, there's a lot of crystals that, obviously every crystal has its own purpose, right? But there's crystals that are sort of mainly for receiving energy. There's crystals that put out energy, and there's crystals that it can actually receive and put out as well. And sometimes it's really helpful to know and be able to tell those crystals apart, because a lot of crystals that can absorb energy can be really helpful for us in terms of cleansing, because they can obviously, absorb that energy for us and clear the air, clear our energy space, right? And, the others that can put out as well in terms of positive, and transforming that energy into something positive, is also good to have around. So you may be looking at a lot of crystals right now that are, things like black tourmaline, black obsidian, right? Good for, negative energy type stuff, for cleansing. And then, for purifying and things like that, you might be looking at, selenite and things like that, clear quartz, all that kind of stuff, yeah? We do have the feather here on this card. Maybe you guys are seeing feathers. That might be a sign as well that your ancestors are around for you guys. Feathers too can be really helpful. A lot of people don't, that I speak to sometimes don't do this, or they don't know that you can do this. But when you get a feather, if you ever see feathers around, and I'm actually sort of to blame myself a bit for this because I don't always do it, and I know I should, but I just don't always do it. But what you can do is if you go out and you see a feather. Now, of course, where I live at the moment, I live in a bit of a tropical place. It's not. I don't want to say tropical, but it's we get a lot of good weather up here. It's very sunny. We're on the coast, all that kind of stuff, right? But there's a lot of birds, like from parrots to ravens and ibises, and there's just birds everywhere. There's just birds, right? And kookaburras and all that kind of stuff. So there's feathers, like loads of feathers everywhere. But when I'm walking, despite, feather there, feather there, feather there, I will know when a feather is a sign from my spirit guides or a sign from my ancestors, because it'll be like either in my path, so I have to step over it to get somewhere. I may see, feathers in my peripheral vision, maybe they're around me, but one that's sort of placed in front of me, I know that's for me. Or if I go to sit down and I think, I'm going to go sit on this bench, right? But the exact spot that I want to sit, there's a feather right there. So I would say, okay, that's for me, right? That's spirit, that's, my ancestors. It's, it's a sign. But what you can actually do is you can take those feathers with you instead of just saying, oh, thank you for the sign, right? Or it can be your angels as well. Of course, we get feathers, particularly white ones from angels. And you do have angels and spirit guides here on this card. So your angels may be sending you feathers, as well as your spirit guides. But so when we can just, say, okay, yeah, feather, that's, your guys' presence, that's great. But what you can actually do is take the feather with you and you bring it home and you put it under your pillow. And when you go to sleep at night, your spirit guides, angels, ancestors, whoever sent the feather, will let you know through your dreams what messages that they have for you, and what it is that you need to know right now, or perhaps why they sent you the feather. So you may want to do that the next time you find a feather. Take it home with you, pop it under the pillow, see what happens. Now we do have the card here of, angels and spirit guides. So I do feel like I said previously, that your ancestors, some of them really are working closely with you right now. It's not just a situation of sort of, watching you from afar, if that makes sense. But I feel like some of them are literally with you on daily basis, and they're really working with you. I'm hearing some of them say, I'm standing right next to you, I'm right with you right now. And so some of them literally have turned into your spirit guides, your guardian angels even, and they are watching over you right now, and with you through your daily, what you go through on a daily basis. So they really want to help you as well with this grounding right now, because this is the blessing that's coming through, that they're going to help you to be more in the present moment, so that you can really be there for the changes and offerings and opportunities that really want to come through for your life. And they want to see you sort of get to the other side. We talked before about the grass is always greener on the other side, right? And they want to help you get to that side. So, so yeah, they're working with you right now, very closely, and so you are definitely coming into this period of grounding, of more stability within your thoughts, your mind, yourself. I think this is really going to help you move forward. And of course, we do have the number 6 here as well, and we have the number 2. Again, that adds up to an 8. So look up the number 8, guys. I am still working on knowing all the meanings of the numbers, so do forgive me there. I know 2 can be duality, so I feel 2 like that can be maybe you guys sort of being in a bit of inner conflict with yourselves. But I also feel like this is again just your ancestors and spirit guides sort of really working with you right now and pairing up with you in a sense to help you move forward. So so that's your blessing, guys, and we are just going to end up with the final advice card for you before we end out this reading. I know this probably ended up being a long one. I usually try and time myself a bit to keep myself on track. I didn't do that today because I really just wanted to say what I felt needed to come through. So if you're still with me, thank you. I hope that these messages were helpful, and let's get on to that advice card. Okay, guys, so we're on to your advice card, and okay. So I record these ones separately because I want to put the big card up on its own page so you can see it in all its glory, and therefore I record this bit separately so that you can see the cards, up close. But because I do these digitally, as you know, with the visuals. So anyway, I was reading this part out because I do read from the book with these cards, and this is the third take now, guys. And the first time I realized after reading it all that I wasn't recording at all, so I forgot to press the record button, which was great. And then the second time I kept giggling because I kept feeling like I needed to sneeze. I could feel the sneeze coming on. So this is the third attempt now, guys. So let's get into it. Sorry. Here we go once again. So you guys got the card number 10, Archon Barbello, and hopefully this is the last time that I will be reading this section out from the book. So your biology and gender are creative and powerful means for you to express your soul path. Sometimes you may feel limited by gender constraints or stereotypes, but your spirit can never be restricted or controlled. Embrace the journey of what it feels like to be you in your own body. There is much benefit and healing to be gained through an embrace of your life journey, including the deeper experience of the absolute freedom of your spirit. Archon Barbello is an angel, goddess, divine mother, and sacred space. She is mysterious and powerful. She is the inviolable purity of truth of your being, the spiritual essence within you that is eternal and cannot be tainted or distorted. Her presence in a reading is a sign that any errors in judgment shall be corrected and any losses shall be restored. If you have been off your path or become disconnected from your real self, she is the innate understanding and power within your heart that pulls you back into authentic connection and true direction. Archon Barbello teaches the soul the mystery of how we can be in a male or female body and yet have characteristics of both the masculine and feminine within us. She also helps us understand how our androgynous spiritual essence can embrace masculine and feminine energies to accomplish its higher purpose. This spiritual essence is beyond gender and is not altered by it in any way. When a connection to the androgyny of the spirit is experienced authentically, there is no rejection of the biology of the body, nor the gender-based experiences that the soul has chosen to fulfill its spiritual mission. We can enjoy our inner masculine and feminine energies and engage with them to create, celebrate, grow spiritually, and heal our soul. Every soul has a unique path, and yet every soul is here to find the way home to divine love and inner truth. The feminine energies in every soul empower our ability to embrace what is and find compassion. This allows for the mercy, forgiveness, and wisdom that start with what is and hold space for evolution into what can be. The masculine energies in every soul encourage exploration, development, and inquiry, stimulating us to question everything, which can lead to discernment and higher understanding and keep us strong. This ensures that negativities are banished from our personal space before they can undermine our personal healing and spiritual progress. Archon helps us fully experience the masculine and feminine principles as creative, interesting, and powerful methods of expression rather than definitions of who we are. The value of the body, of gender and biology as ways for the soul to experience and express itself is complemented by the freedom that comes with understanding the spiritual part of you, entirely free from constructs of any kind. You can retreat to this sacred, pure, untouched place within when you need to replenish your reserves of wisdom and willpower for your life journey. Connecting with this part of you can remind you that whilst your life journey and experiences are important and help to understand, to grow, they do not determine who you are and what you are. You exist in the realm of Archon Babello, the pure light of divine presence. Your spirit is always nestled beneath her radiant wings. And yet to shine that light in the world, where it is most needed, requires you to have a soul journey as a human being, in a physical body with biology and gender. If you have any concerns about this or wish to bring healing to those who have such concerns, this oracle brings encouragement. Ask for help and healing from divine spirit, that all souls find truth in their journey, blessed with mercy, wisdom, grace, and compassion. Thank you very much, guys. That was your reading. I really hope that this resonated and the messages resonated with you in regards to your ancestors. So please like and subscribe if you enjoyed my channel, if you like my energy. If you're already subscribed and a returning subscriber, thank you so much. I do appreciate you being a part of the family. And if you haven't yet, please join the fam. I would love to have you. If this did resonate, leave me a message as well down in the comment section. I love to read those. Other than that, guys, take care, and I will see you on the next reading. Blessed be. Hey there, pile 2. So, we have ancestor reading for you today. So we're doing oracle only. I wasn't feeling the need for tarot cards, so we're just doing oracle. And we're starting off with a door card here. And I asked your ancestors how they feel about what's going in your life generally, in your life generally right now. And for you guys, we got the card Sunset, and it says, time here turns to release and unfurl. Old cords of pain fade as the sun's light burns. And so I feel like you guys may be in a period right now of releasing certain things, cutting energetic cords. You guys may be breaking cycles, old patterns, anything like that, to bring you guys into the new, into the sunlight. And if we look at the picture, we do have that beautiful bright sun there, that beautiful orange sky. Now, of course, it does look like the way that the camera has posed the picture, that perhaps you are going through a dark period right now, so you might feel in the darkness, but your ancestors are really wanting to guide you through that door and make that transition into that sunny sky, that happiness. And, it's not even really a door. I don't see a door. like as an actual door that can close and open. So I feel like it's more a gateway, and I feel like this is open and ready for you to walk through. Your ancestors are just, waiting for you to be open to making that transition. And, of course, I feel like perhaps this is you guys right now embodying that sunset, only to transform to become the sunrise and rising above. So let's see what the rest of your reading has to say. So we're on to the second question here. And we're asking your ancestors what they are concerned about right now for you. So I have 3 cards here and 3 clarifiers. So we're starting off with, excuse my stomach, guys. I don't know why it's going off. I did have breakfast this morning, and I suppose it is a little bit past lunchtime, so I really should probably have something else to eat. But anyways, we'll press on. So we have groundness with armadillo. Also have the number 7. Clarified by focus, tuberose. We also have reciprocity, honeybee. That's a number 6. Clarified by readiness with a Nottingham catchfly. And then we also have beauty swan, the number 20. And protection with clove pink. So I think for first up, guys, I think your ancestors are a little bit concerned, and yes, I let out a sigh because I kind of feel like that's the energy right now. I feel like your ancestors really feel like there are some things right now that you should be focusing on, or there's a particular direction where your focus should be pointed at, headed towards, and I feel like you guys maybe aren't in that energy right now. And so your ancestors are calling for you to become more grounded because it's going to put you in the present moment. There's a lack of being grounded right now. And it's not allowing you to focus on and to pay attention to the things that you really need to pay attention to right now. So your spirit guides, your ancestors are really acknowledging the fact that, you guys need to really assess what needs your focus right now and try and work on those things. And grounding yourself can really help with that. And as I spoke about in part 1, I did talk a bit about grounding. And there's several ways that you can do this. You can go out in nature, spend some time, ground yourself that way. Connect with Mother Gaia. You guys can do chakra meditations, working on your root chakra, which helps with grounding, right? There's several different things that you guys can do, but it's going to be really helpful for you guys right now to focus on that, to direct your energy towards grounding, because it's going to, put you in that right frame of mind to carry on with the next step that needs to happen in your life. And that can literally be like, focusing on the grounding, but I feel like it's more you grounding yourself so that you're able to focus on the things that you need to right now. Now we do have reciprocity here as well with the honeybee, and we have the card of readiness as well. I'm kind of sensing for some of you guys, I mean, again, I feel like there's an effort here that needs to be put in. There's some hard work perhaps that needs to be done. Like the bees, right? They work really hard to make their honey, right? And they also work together as well. So I feel like, but I feel like this is you guys needing to put in just a little bit more effort right now. In that readiness kind of energy to do what needs to be done in order to, again, take that next step. And this can be towards a goal. This can be towards manifesting something. It can be just in your daily career, even whatever it is for you guys. There's some hard work that needs to be put in here. Now, reciprocity being sort of like the you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back type scenario. It's that sort of give and take kind of thing. It's, you put in your half, I put in my half kind of thing. I give to you and you give to me in return. And so I kind of feel like the universe is having a bit of a say here as well. It's not just your ancestors, but the universe sort of works in the way of, in order for us to receive, the universe wants to see us put in some hard work first, or the universe wants to see us at least show some signs of, that we really want something, or that we're really willing to put in the effort that's needed in order to get something, right? And, sometimes if the universe doesn't see that, or our spirit guides or even ancestors, then we don't often get those results, right? And it's kind of like that thing of, okay, we see that you've been putting in a lot of effort recently, so now we're going to give you a reward. Like, you're going to get what you were working towards, or we're going to help you with something that you've been desiring, a manifestation, whatever it is, right? Something. But it's that effort of giving first before the take, right? And then, for instance, if we have gotten something, I feel like, depending on how it happened, if it's that thing sometimes too, I don't want to say it like this, but it's kind of like sometimes, how, I don't want to say take something that's not ours, but it's like if we've kind of cheated a little bit, or we found a way to get to something that we really wanted, rather than actually putting in the hard work, we found an easier way to get there, and we've gone, haha, I've outsmarted the universe, I've outsmarted everything, right? The system, whatever. But then it's like, no. You still have to have put in that hard work in order for you to really get this. So it's like, if you do get it, then it's kind of like the universe turns around and says, well, okay, now you're going to have to, sort of, I don't want to say pay either for what you've got, but it's like, it's like almost like a karmic kind of thing. Do you guys get what I'm saying? So in some ways, I kind of feel like that can be a scenario too, but I feel more it's just like you guys just being in a state of groundness in order to focus, right? So that you can put in the work that needs to be done in order to gain what you want to gain right now, and be ready for that effort that needs to be put in, and be ready to receive as well. So I feel like it's more about that for you guys. And we do have the beauty card here as well with the swan. Now in this card, of course, she is blindfolded. So I always take this to mean that somebody that doesn't see the beauty within themselves, inner and outer, I feel like. So I feel like, you guys might be needing to really show yourself some self-love at the moment. Maybe you're not showing yourself enough, and that's concerning your ancestors right now, because they see the beauty in you, right? They are supporting you right now, and they are protecting you as well, because we have the protection card here. And, like the elegant swan and the beauty within the swan, you guys have that about yourselves as well. And it's just a matter of you guys showing yourself some love and seeing it within you. And she's she's in some kind of a pond, but there's also bubbles around her as well. So I do feel like this could be, for some of you guys as well, some outer love and care as well. Maybe you guys are going to be spending some more time on a healthy body, so working on, taking bubble baths or something, for instance, with your favorite bath salts and things like that. Maybe going and treating yourself to a spa day, or getting a massage or something like that, or paying a little bit extra maybe for that special, moisturizer that you wanted or something like that, right? Or maybe it's a hair care. She's got a lot of beautiful, thick, long hair here, so maybe you're doing some hair care or something like that. But whatever it is, but I do feel like it's an inner and an outer scenario here for you guys. So I just, and with the clove pink here, and of course, because we've got that pink color, it makes me think of like rose quartz and stuff like that, which is all about like, love. And, we do think about love when we think of pink and red and things like that. So I do feel like this is, showering yourself with love and care at this moment, inside and out. And your ancestors, they're here protecting you, but they are concerned right now that you are not seeing that beauty within yourself, and they would really like for you to take some more care on yourself. So whether that is inner or outer, you guys are going to know, or it's both. Just take some time for yourself, and because they, like I said, they see the beauty in you, and they would like you to take off that blindfold and be able to see the same in yourself. So we're going to move on to the next part, guys. And the question we're asking then is what your ancestors are happy about with your current situation and what they are proud of. So let's get into that. Okay, so we are on to the next part, and this is about what your ancestors are happy about with your life right now, what they are proud of that you've done. So we have, again, the same as before, 3 cards, 3 clarifiers. So we have creation, snake, with the number 43. Again, that's a 7. We also have the clarifier here, depth, woodland, tobacco. We also have responsibility, meerkat, with the number 16. Again, that's a 7. So 7 might be really important for you guys right now. Or you may be seeing 777 somewhere. This may be a sign from your ancestors as well, so pay attention to when you do see the number 7. We also have that responsibility clarified by understanding with night blooming Cereus. Not sure if I said that right. And then we have sacrifice bull with the number 4 there, and we have transformation with angel's trumpet. So, excuse me, guys. So yeah, I feel like, the ancestors have really been noticing the changes and the transformations that you've been making on yourself, right? Because I'm looking at the snakes here, how they constantly shed their skin and they transform, right? And so I feel like you guys perhaps have done a lot of transforming, a lot of maybe adapting to new situations, scenarios. Maybe for some of you even, I'm hearing you've had to recreate yourself time and time again. Not necessarily like like a new version every single time, like I'm going to be this person now and I'm going to be that person now, but more along the lines of, I feel like you guys have had to go through some things perhaps, and then you've kind of said to yourself, like something's happened and you've had to maybe start from scratch again. Maybe you got knocked back to, I'm actually, Spirit's showing me, which is a good way to look at it, snakes and ladders, right? Did you ever play that game when you were a kid where you roll the dice and if you land on a ladder, you go up, but then, you can roll the dice on your next turn and all of a sudden you can hit a snake and then you get slumped back down to the, to a lower number on the bridge. So it's like, that kind of a snakes and ladders maybe type thing where you've gone up the ladder, but then only to be knocked down again and have to, climb your way back up. So if that is the case for some of you, Spirit's acknowledging that and the strength I feel like, and what it's taken for you to pull through and go through that. Because I feel like for some of you too, with this gold heart here, it's like it's really put at your heartstrings, going through some of those things, but you've stayed strong. And being that it is a gold heart too, I do feel like your ancestors want to point that out, that you have a heart of gold. So I think that's really, really lovely. So yeah, we have, these roots coming out from the heart here, and then we have trees growing out of it. So I do feel like, they've been there to witness growth within you, within the heart space, but also to things that you've created. So literal, I'm hearing like projects and things that you've been working towards, what you've been trying to manifest in your life. And I feel like they've been witnessing that and seeing the changes and the transformations you've been making. And with this depth card too, I feel like, they see the depth within you, that you are a multi-dimensional person, the depth of your heart, how you're, again, acknowledging that heart of gold, but also too, how, how hard you've worked towards things, the things that you have done. Because I say that we did talk before about how you guys are needing to reground, refocus, and about, you guys maybe needing to put more of that effort in. There may be a need right now to give more than you're taking, so on and so forth. But I do feel like with this creation in depth, it's like your ancestors have seen what's coming out of your heart space. They're seeing what you're trying to create. They're seeing the visions that you've had. They're seeing what you're trying to communicate, what you're trying to put out in the world, the purity within you, the essence of you. They're seeing what it is that, you're trying to become, what you're evolving into. I'm kind of hearing someone say there, like, I've been watching you grow up since a little child, and we've been watching you. We've been seeing you evolve and change and create this wonderful person that you're turning into. And there's a lot of depth there. I also feel for some of you, if you've planted roots in the past for something creation wise, that you're going to start seeing this come to life now. You're going to start seeing growth on this. So that's something there for some of you. I'm sort of seeing too, this is making me think, because they're in the desert here, and it does kind of make me think, I'm thinking of mirages, and I'll tell you why. Because I think for some of you too, you've had these visions, you've had these ideas, you've had these creations, right? But they've almost been like a mirage, like you're in the desert and you're seeing something and you come up with it in your mind's eye, it's there, right? And you're going, oh, wow. For instance, a lot of people struggle in desert and stuff with dehydration, for example, right? So you've had this vision that there's, water nearby, and you're seeing maybe this beautiful, clear, pristine, clear lake, right? Or a pond. May not be there, it's just a mirage, right? But you're seeing it clear as day. It's like, oh my God, I have to work towards this pond. I have to get to this clear water. I need water. I must have water. And you're working towards it, only to find out when you get there, perhaps it was just a dream. But I feel like that's how maybe some of you are seeing things sometimes with your creations, with the things that you're working on. And it's like you get these great ideas and you work towards them, or you come up with them, and then maybe there's an abandonment there in some respects, or maybe there's you know what, this can't come off, this may not happen, it's too impossible, it's too this, it's too that. But you've put all this effort in, and what you don't realize sometimes too is you've planted those roots, and those roots are growing. Those roots are turning into something, right? They're growing into something. So that's just for some of you there. You maybe needed to hear that, because I feel like, maybe you're thinking that some of your dreams are unattainable, or some of the things that you've been working on are just visions, but they have actually, you've planted the seeds, or it's possible for you to turn these into something tangible, right? That's not a mirage. But I do think in general, because like I said, we're talking about what your ancestors are proud of. And, I do think that they see the creations, the visions that you have, the creativity, how you see the world. I'm sort of hearing like they're saying, I sort of live vicariously through you sometimes, because the way you view the world and the things that you see and the things you create, the things you come up with is so interesting. It's so unique. It's so you. And I think they really like that. So that's another message there from the ancestors, your ancestors. But So we have responsibility with meerkat, and we have understanding here as well. So I feel like they're, happy, they're pleased that you're understanding of the responsibilities that you have right now, and that you're, sort of being like, it's like a pat on the back, a praise for, the responsibilities that you've taken on, that you've done. Now, this can be seen in two different ways. So for some of you, this can be responsibilities maybe that you decided to take on that necessarily weren't your responsibility, but you stepped up, right? You stepped up to the plate and you took them on. And for others of you, this is daily responsibilities and things. So you're just on top of all your day to day, chores and mundane things that we don't often like to do, but you're doing them. And, there's an acknowledgement there for that as well. Sorry, guys, my stomach is going crazy. So yeah, but I think there's an understanding there with you that it's like, yeah, and it's that thing sometimes. It's like, I don't like doing it. I don't really want to do this, but I understand that I kind of have to. Or there's an understanding of like, if I don't step up, nobody else will. Or there's some kind of you've taken on. What's the word? There's a particular word I'm after here. I can't think of the word, but yeah. So you guys have stepped up to the plate, is all I am trying to get at. And so your ancestors are acknowledging that. And I mean, we do have. I'm trying to see what else is on this card, and I just find it interesting because they have paint around them too. So the meerkats are standing around paint. So I kind of feel like again, it sort of works with that creation, but I feel like maybe some of you artists, maybe some of you are painters, but I feel like, it's like you guys, I'm sort of seeing like someone fixing up a house as well. So it's kind of like that daily stuff that you sort of don't want to do. It's like when you go, okay, I've got to clean the gutters, or I've got to the house needs a new paint coat on the outside, or I need to patch up this hole, or I need to do that or do that. And it's like, these annoying mundane things, but you guys are getting it done and you're, taking responsibility for that. But it's also, like I said, maybe stepping up to the plate and taking responsibility for others as well. Because we have so many different animals here. And so I feel like it's kind of like, yep, I'm willing to do this. I'm not a part of your tribe necessarily, like as in I'm not, a part of your species, or I'm, it's not my deal, but at the same time, I'm stepping up to the plate. So there's an acknowledgement there. If you have done something like this, and perhaps this doesn't have to be current energy, this could be past tense as well. Maybe you've already done this. You took responsibility where perhaps, you didn't necessarily need to, but you decided that you were going to step up to the plate and do what needed to be done. And they're acknowledging this. Your ancestors are saying they're proud of you for this. And we have sacrifice with bull, as well as transformation. So I feel like for some of you, that sacrifice can work with that responsibility. So maybe some of you sacrificed something in your own life in order to take responsibility where it was needed. And again, there's that pat on the back from your ancestors in doing so. So yeah, I mean, this sacrifice may have come at a bit of a cost for you, and we do have 40 there, which of course is the number 4. And 4 to me speaks of family. So this could have been a family sacrifice in some ways for some of you guys. I feel like, you could have stepped up to the plate with family members or something that needed to be done within the family. That's just for some of you. If you don't resonate with that, that's fine. But I do feel like, and this could have put you in a bit of a bull state as well. I feel like a bit of a defensive sort of energy here as well, where it's kind of like, or protective energy. I don't know. I feel like for some of you, you could have been quite protective of these responsibilities that you had, or the people that you were responsible for, or whatever the responsibilities were that you were doing, right? That you were taking care of. But then also too, I feel like, this bull that's like taking charge, this protective energy, but also too this defensive energy where it's like, you've been through, or you've sacrificed so much, that you're, yeah, I don't know, it just got into more of a defensive energy for a while there, I feel like. But I feel like that's changing now, right? There's a transformation happening here. There's a moving on from this. If this was a cycle, if this had to do with something that you were in, that you felt maybe was not going to come to an end, right? Because we do think that with cycles, right? Cycles go round and round and around. But they are capable of being broken. And so I feel like for you guys, this is you now going through that transformation process, or having gone through. For some of you, it's being already done, and you've gone through this transformation process, and spirit, your ancestors is saying that they have been supporting you through this transformation, and they're really proud of the changes that you've made. And again, that responsibility that you took on. I do feel for some of you that you did take on something that was not necessarily your responsibility, but you did it anyway. And it might have led to a sacrifice, but you guys are coming out of that now, or you have come out of that and you've made that transformation. I feel like there's some kind of forgiveness here too. So forgiveness for this situation, and you're going to know where that lies, whether that's, forgiveness for yourself, or forgiving the fact that the situation happened in the first place, something like that. But there maybe some kind of forgiveness that happened here, or is about to happen for you, and maybe that can be a key here into this transformation that you're going to be going through, or that you have gone through. So let's get on to the next section. Okay, so this is an upcoming challenge that your ancestors want to make you aware of. So we have as the main challenge here, spiritual awakening with selenite. And we have the card of healer, we have inner wisdom, and we have divine masculine. So we have the number 14 breaks down to a 5, 17 breaking down to an 8, and of course 11 breaking down to a 1. So you guys are going through, we did talk about transformation, so I do feel like that's in the present for some of you. And going through a spiritual awakening right now. And, spiritual awakenings are never always easy. And sometimes they do present a lot of obstacles or challenges that we need to move through. Sometimes it's, doing a lot of hard work on ourselves. Sometimes too, it's, really doing that shadow work, seeing the truth within ourselves and who we really are and things like that. We're faced with a lot of things that, can be difficult to face. But at the end of the day, we're making those necessary changes, those transformations to become better versions of ourselves. So, and some of you too, maybe for some of you, this is more of you becoming more spiritual in general, and maybe exploring more of your spiritual side, your interests in that regard, and, maybe getting into more spiritual practices, things like that. And we do have the card here of healer, and it does say Charman on the side as well. So For some of you, I feel like we did talk about that sacrifice and some of the things that you might have gone through. And I do want to mention before I forget to, and I didn't say this prior, but I'm thinking about it now, is with that creation card, excuse me, guys, with that creation card, how it had the snakes around the heart. I'm thinking too, for some of you, that it could have been a scenario too where you may have had some sneaky snakes that, were in your energetic field, and, maybe you might have, had to go through some sacrifices in that sense as well, or deal with those kinds of energies that may have, tried to put you off course, or you may have felt like you went off course for a little bit, but you pulled through. So I just wanted to point that out there because I was feeling that as well. But back to this. So yeah, I feel like some of the things that you guys may have been through, maybe setting you up to a awakening or a realization, perhaps that you can use those things to help other people. So you may be a healer yourself. You may have that ability to heal others. This may be a realization moment for you guys. But I also feel like for some of you, this is general healing. This is you guys going through that healing process, and it's not always easy, and it takes as long as it takes. I always say that. I stand strong on that. So, we have the divine masculine here as well. So this can go two ways. For some of you, I feel like perhaps you're too much into your divine masculine right now. There's not enough focus on the heart space. There's not enough focus on the divine feminine. There's no balance of the two. And, your ancestors are, sort of acknowledging that. And that may be a challenge for you to sort of bring in more of your divine feminine to get more of an equal balance. And for others of you, it's the opposite way. You need to bring in more of this divine masculine because maybe you're a little bit too more in the divine feminine right now. But also too with the divine masculine, I feel like for some of you too, you guys may be getting downloads. You may, because we do have inner wisdom as well. And so I feel like for you guys, this is also tapping into more of that golden heart that we talked about, right? Tapping more into what you feel deep down inside. That's really going to guide you forward. And perhaps where, you felt you had to listen to other people, or you felt guided more by other people where they were telling you what to do, or you were forced in situations where you had no choice but to sort of follow a certain path and things. I think you guys are moving out of that now and focusing more on your wants, your needs, and what's really coming from within, and letting that guide you. And I believe this, this looks like Mother Gaia to me. So it says Mother Gaia. So there we go. Right. So sorry, guys. So yeah, Mother Gaia, I think, is around you guys as well at this point in time, because of course we did have the number 11 here on the divine masculine, and that goes down to a 1, which is of course the divine and spirit, right? So I feel like you have a lot actually of spiritual guides and people around you right now. So we have Mother Gaia, we have the divine, the universe. I'm feeling here with this Charman card. And of course, your ancestors are very present in your life as well. So that's a lot of, spiritual energy and support and protection around you guys right now. So, and we did talk about groundness as well with you guys. So again, this is that connection to Mother Gaia. I feel like it might be really helpful for you guys right now to connect with her. So, that can be going out in nature is obviously one of the more obvious ways of doing that, and just spending some time sitting outside. And also too, when we do go outside and we spend some time in nature, we sit there in the peace and the quiet. It allows us to quieten our mind. And that goes back to this divine masculine. If you're too much into your divine masculine right now, too much in your head, going out and spending some time in nature, spend some time connecting with Mother Gaia, and it just clears out the mind, refocus, get those messages that want to come through, because we're in that moment of peace, we're in that moment of silence. And I feel like that's going to help you guys move forward. But right now, your challenge is a time, I feel, for some of you of healing, and perhaps realizing that, you have the ability to help and heal others as well. And it's listening to that inner wisdom, and it's that balance of that divine masculine and feminine, whichever way that was for you guys. So I feel like this is a challenge that you guys are going through right now, this spiritual awakening. And like I said, it's not always an easy process. And it can be sometimes too, much like a snake, where you're continuously shedding skin, but it's leading you to your divine purpose. It's leading you to who you truly are. It's leading you to so many wonderful things. So, and we talked about a focus as well earlier on. So this could be part of your focus as well, focusing on that healing, focusing on that spiritual awakening, the spiritual changes that you're going through, and where you need to be heading in that spiritual direction. So let's get on to the next section. Okay, so this is the blessings and any opportunities that your ancestors want to make you aware of for your near future. And I'm very excited to say you guys got Soul Connection Crystal, the Lovers. We also have self expression and truth and integrity. So I feel like there could be a relationship perhaps on the way for you guys. Now, this is soul connection, so this is a connection with someone on a soul level. It does say lovers, but if this is not something that you are wanting, i.e., you're already in a relationship with somebody, or you're not looking for love, and you don't resonate with that, this could just be someone that really connects with you soul to soul. So it could just be a platonic relationship in terms of perhaps a friend, or maybe even someone from your soul tribe, right? Because we are talking about that soul connection. So with the truth and integrity here and the self-expression, I feel like, in one way, I feel like you guys, when you meet this person or when you're around this person, you're going to feel like you can really be yourself, and you're not going to be afraid to express who you really are. And I feel like this person, whoever this is going to bring more of that out in you. I feel like they're going to trigger you, but like in a good way, and you're going to really tap into more of who you are. And as well as the truth and integrity, you're going to be shining your light. You're going to be really showing who you are at the core, and you're not afraid of that. And this person is really going to appreciate that about you and love you for you. Again, and you guys are a lot alike. We have that soul, connection. So I feel like this person is very much the same in the way that they express themselves, and they're not afraid to show who they are, and they do stand in their truth. They do stand in integrity. So I feel like, this is, a wonderful new relationship that is being brought into your life. This could be a water sign too, because we do have the water here. So this could be a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. You might be a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, or again, it could be just in the chart of either of you. Sun, Moon, Rising. And we do have summer here too. So you may meet this person during the summertime. It's wintertime here in Australia right now, but I know, of course, in the Northern Hemisphere for you guys, it is your summer. So this could be literally very, very soon for you guys that you may meet this person. So that's very, very interesting there as well. We do have back here as well the flower, the crystal grid. So this person may be into crystals as well. Turquoise might resonate with you guys. This could be their birthstone. This could be your birthstone. But I do feel like, yeah, this is this wonderful connection here too. And I feel like this person is going to awaken something within you. I feel like, again, we've got this light that's being shone right at the top here on this Truth and Integrity card. And I feel like they're really going to awaken you. You know, they're really going to bring you out of your shell. I'm kind of hearing, sort of seeing, even though I didn't use tarot, I'm sort of seeing like the Hermit card, right? Where you're coming out of hermit mode and you're finally showing yourself to the world. And, you know, this person is just like bringing you out of your shell. And so that you can shine your light, because you are a wonderful, beautiful person that, you know, deserves to be seen and heard, and, you know, to put yourself out there as the wonderful person that you are. So, you know, I do feel like this person is going to awaken that in you, and, you know, you're both just going to be feeding off each other's energy, this wonderful, bright energy. And I'm sensing too with the water, this person may be very calming. This person may be someone that, you know, just goes with the flow. Also maybe somebody that loves nature as well. So there could be a nature lover, somebody that just likes to spend time out in nature. Again, we've got the number 8, so 6 and 2, or 26, I should say. So this person could be 26, you could be 26. We also have 32, which also breaks down to a 5. Again, that's change. So this could be an age gap between you two as well. We have 26 and 32, so there could be a few years gap. Maybe someone's older, someone's younger. And with the elephants here too, you know, this person could really feel familiar to you. They could feel like family. You know, I'm thinking about how elephants never forget. So this could be somebody, again, it's that soul connection, right? So you're going to feel that anyway. When you meet this person, there's going to be that soul recognition between the both of you when you meet. So you're going to, if you've never, you know, even if you haven't physically met this person in this life yet, there's going to be that, you know, understanding there and connection of, hey, you know, familiarity, like I know you, right? I know you from somewhere, which is crazy. I did have an instance once, and this really isn't anything to do with like a partnership or even a friendship, but you know, I mean, I'm an empath, and I also have, you know, I have, you know, I'm a healer and things like that, and I have like people constantly being drawn to me, and it used to really, because I didn't understand it in the beginning days. I didn't understand what it was. People were coming to my light, and I didn't understand why, or that they were there for my light, to be quite honest. And people would just come up to me, and, you know, they'd want help with things, and they constantly keep asking me things, and, you know, I just felt like I couldn't go outside without somebody wanting something, you know, or asking for my assistance, or just wanting to be around my energy, and I didn't quite understand it back then. But what I would also get with that is people going, I know you from somewhere, and they just would not let it go. And they say, no, I recognize your face from, you're familiar, I know you from somewhere. And, you know, in some terms, yes, it could have been, you know, that sort of soul connection. Perhaps there was some kind of past life tie, something like that. But anyway, just to share, just for a laugh, I had this one guy, and I went into a shop, and he just kept staring at me. And I just thought, what's this guy staring at me? And eventually because he worked there, and eventually came over and he said, I know you from somewhere. And I said, no, I don't think so. He sort of stopped for a moment, and then he said, no, I do. I know you from somewhere. And I said, well, I've never come into the store before. This is the first time, so it can't be from the store. And I said, look, I'm really sorry. I'm looking at you, and I don't think I've met you before. And he said, what do you do? And I said, well, I work at a hotel. And I said, I run conferences and events. Sorry. And I said, I may have seen you at the hotel. He asked me what hotel I worked at. I told him. He said, no, never been there. I said, okay, that's well, I'm not sure then, but he said, I know you work, or you've been at the university. And I said, no, I didn't go to university actually. So, and he said, oh. And he just wouldn't let it go. And he was adamant that he was going to figure out how it was that we knew each other. And even when I got into the car and we were about to leave, he came out to the car and he said, no, I know you from somewhere. And I said, I don't think we're going to come at a conclusion to this. So I really do need to go now. But, I'm sorry that, we can't figure this out. But, he was really adamant. I know you from somewhere. But it's that thing. I think when you're going to meet this person, it's like, that odd feeling that you know them from somewhere, if you've known them before. And, very strange. So, yeah. So that's a beautiful blessing that's coming in for you guys. And, this could be sent directly from your ancestors as well. Maybe they're sending this to you. I am kind of feeling like, for some of you, I'm sort of hearing like it's a blessing coming through from the effort that you've put in previous and the things that you've sacrificed, the things that you've been through, and now this is your reward. Again, we go back to that reciprocity. So perhaps Spirit seeing the effort in the past that you've put into something or what you've been through and saying, okay, now you've given and now it's your turn to receive, right? So, and there's this beautiful connection coming in for you guys. So that's lovely. So we're going to get on to the last part of your reading, which is the advice. I have one advice card for you guys, but it's a very in-depth card. So let's get on to that one now. Okay, so the card that you guys got was Shekinah. Shekinah, I hope I'm saying that right. Number 6. So I'm going to read straight from the book for these because these are very in-depth. So bear with me, but this is going to give you guys your final piece of advice from your ancestors. So the card says, the spiritual worlds want to help you resolve your worldly concerns. It is safe for you to rely on Spirit as a loving, protective, helpful, and practical presence, able to positively affect all areas of your life, including facilitating the resolution of physical problems. Do not limit your spirituality to concepts. Instead, apply your higher knowledge and principles. Grow your wisdom and live your path. Acknowledge your value as a person, as a soul. Treasure the gift of your path and let your spirituality integrate with all facets of your life. Shekinah is a Hebrew word that translates as the dwelling place of the divine. Shekinah is the embodiment of the light. She is in us when we are living our spiritual path, applying our wisdom and principles, so our actions, our courage, our choices awaken compassion in our world. We are the sacred change makers and healers of the collective. The divine electricity of Spirit needs willing soul bulbs to shine forth in the world. In the esoteric Jewish tradition of Kabbalah, Shekinah is the sacred feminine, the capacity for an experience of spirit entering the soul of a human being. When a soul is approaching the sacred experience of Shekinah, the ego has given way to some degree. There is enough inner space and heart willingness to surrender and receive so that Spirit can infuse the soul. The soul becomes more luminous with white light. We resonate more with Spirit than with ego. We feel like our true selves. When the soul becomes Shekinah, a holy dwelling place of Spirit, our experience is very different to the ego-driven way of living. We slow down and accomplish that which is meaningful. We feel connected to all that is, so we are inspired to do what we can to help, according to our tendencies and talents. We co-create rather than compete. We accomplish our aspirations because we are no longer in our heads, but practicing our spiritual path daily. Our practices resonate with our hearts, increasing our awareness, love, presence, patience, commitment, and peace. Our spiritual practices are our life raft when the oceans of life become wild, and our magic carpet when we feel stuck and we need inspiration and freedom. Our practices increase our compassion for ourselves and others. When Shekinah is in your reading, you have both permission and encouragement from Spirit to embrace spiritual practices that resonate with your heart and commitment to them, especially when you think you don't need them or they don't seem to be doing anything for you. Those are times you need them the most. To embrace Shekinah is to embrace action, to commit, to engage, to walk our talk, and to be the light we want to see in our world. The ideas that nurture and inspire your heart are important, but the actions that transform hesitation, fear, and doubt into boldness, trust, and confidence are essential to bring those ideas to life. You have it within you to live your light and to put all your problems and concerns into the capable hands of a deeper guiding wisdom. You are not giving away your power in doing so. You are actually empowering your sacred fulfillment. This oracle brings notice of an opportunity to apply your spiritual principles. You are encouraged to consider how you can live so that your inner beliefs and outer actions are in alignment. This is not about denying the ego and its pains. It is about having compassion and responding from a place of kindness and determination to heal. The oracle also suggests a matter of a material or physical concern can be touched and healed by Spirit. Your task is to invite Spirit in, allow it to do what it knows how to do. Find relief in the knowledge that Spirit is with you and wants you to heal through all matters of concern. So that was your final message, guys. I really hope that this reading resonated with you and that those ancestor messages that came through spoke to you. If you like my energy, my channel, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have, thanks so much for being part of the family. I really appreciate you. If this did resonate, please leave me a comment down in the comment section. I'd love to get some feedback. Other than that, guys, I will see you on the next reading. Take care and blessed be. Hey, part 3. So we are on to you guys. You're my final pile. We're doing ancestor messages today, and we're only doing oracle. I am not using tarot. I didn't feel called to, so just not going to. So we do have several questions to get through. We're starting off. I asked your ancestors, how do they feel about what's going on in your life right now? And I have pulled the door card for you guys. Before I read out the card, though, I just want to point out my stomach is going crazy today. I haven't had lunch, so it's like rumbling and growling. I do apologize. I would normally stop, have something to eat, come back to you guys, but I'm on a time limit here. I literally have this space only for privacy and quiet, peace and quiet any moment. Now it's not going to be quiet anymore, so I really have to take this opportunity now. So I'm just pre-apologizing for the noise that you may hear in the background, which is my stomach. So again, the question we asked your ancestors, how do they feel generally about what's going on in your life right now? And so the card you got is Distant Dream. And it says, the distance calls your heart to roam free. As you dare dream it, so must it be. Pass this on. So I feel like for you guys, this is a dream, perhaps that you have, a wish, something that you want to work towards, a goal, whatever it is, may seem a bit distant right now. It may seem unachievable or something that, may take a long time to come to fruition. So this could be in terms of patience and perseverance. For some of you too, this could be literal distance. So maybe you're hoping to travel somewhere. Maybe your dream is to relocate somewhere and you have to cross bodies of water to get there. So it's a literal distance. But, this is something that, you may feel that is a little bit hard to get to right now. But as the card says, as you dare dream it, so must it be. So we're going to get into more messages about that and see what comes up, if anything does, to clarify this card. But on the card, the picture side, of course, we do have a door here which is surrounded by a body of water. So again, it's that feeling of perhaps, can I get there? Will this happen? And for some of you, like I said, this may be literally traveling over some kind of body of water to achieve. So we'll see what this is about and see what else your ancestors have to say. Okay, so we're on to the next question, which is, what are your ancestors concerned about right now? So I have 3 cards with 3 clarifiers. So we have cycles with hare, 31 breaking down to a 4. Companionship with dog, 41 breaking down to a 5. Reliability with goat, 19 breaking down to a 10, breaks down to a 1. So cycles is clarified by sensuality, damask violet. So I feel like your ancestors right now are concerned about maybe a cycle that you're going through, perhaps a bit of an endless, cycles tend to be endless unless we break them, right? That's why they're a cycle. So I feel like your ancestors are a little bit concerned right now about that. And I'm looking at her hair on this card here, how it's literally long, so long. And I'm sort of like seeing someone in a hairdresser's getting their hair cut, right? And going, I'm just going to chop it all off. Like, I'm done. I'm done with this cycle. I'm done with this long hair. I'm just going to chop it off. So I feel like, your ancestors are really wanting you to find peace and break away from any of these cycles that are not serving you anymore, that you've been. And I'm sort of thinking with the hair and how she's let the hair grow so long. Sometimes too, we can feed these cycles, and that's why they keep repeating. That's why they're an endless cycle, right? Because we keep allowing them to circulate. We allow them to keep going. And, there can be many reasons for that. Sometimes we are not aware, perhaps even, of a cycle that needs to be broken. Sometimes it takes other people to point it out for us. Sometimes it takes, some clarity, some things to shift and move for us to go, oh, okay, this is maybe something that's not serving me. Or sometimes we realize we're in a cycle that doesn't serve us. But there's either a lack of knowing as to how to break the cycle, or, it's that thing of like, oh, but to break this cycle, it's so much effort, or it's that being in that position where you maybe have to step out of your comfort zone in order to do it. And that's the thing, even with cycles, we know that don't serve us, we can get to a level of comfort with it because it's the known as opposed to the unknown. And so we find that level of comfort and we stick with these things, even though we know they're not serving us. And we go, yeah, I'm just going to keep spinning around in this circle because it's what I know and it's, what I've been doing. So we'll just keep going. But there's a need here for you guys to break free from something. And being that we have the clarifier here of the card of sensuality, I feel like, your ancestors really want you to start feeling and experiencing some pleasure, some happiness in your life, oh God, Spirit said something in my head just then. Your ancestors, sorry, when I say, I keep going back from like ancestor, spirit, ancestors. Some of your ancestors may actually be your spirit guides, because of course, not all our ancestors are, at an energetic distance to us. Some of them actually have turned into our spirit guides, and they are literally with us on a daily basis, helping us get through the daily grind and, all the things that we need to do. So that could be the reason there for me constantly wanting to say that. But yeah, I don't want to say what was just said, but what do rabbits do a lot of? Let's just put it that way. Because, of course, sensuality can talk about the physical, right? Physical pleasure and things like that. So I feel like maybe there's a need for you guys to experience more of this. Maybe you've been in this cycle where you're not wanting to be in relationships in that way with other people, or maybe you're not wanting, you're not allowing yourself to experience pleasure, or it doesn't have to be in a physical sense, but or to have that peace, to have that happiness. And so I feel like, yes, there is this cycle that your ancestors are worried about, because I don't feel like it's been broken just yet, and they would really like you to move away from this cycle so that you can find that peace, so you can find that pleasure, have that happiness. We do have companionship as well with dog, and we have achievement underneath here as the clarifier. I'm kind of feeling like you guys have had to be your own best friend. I feel like you guys maybe have been faced with quite a few people that have let you down, or situations where you sort of felt like you don't know who you can trust anymore, and maybe you've just decided, you know what, I've just got to be my own best friend. And so, you sort of had that companionship with yourself, but I feel like there's a need for, that outer level of companionship coming from outer sources, coming from someone else. As well, I sort of feel like that sort of ties in a bit with the cycles card and the sensuality. But in terms of the achievement, I feel like you guys, I mean, I know this part is we're talking about what your ancestors are concerned about, but I do actually feel like you guys have done a lot of healing work on yourselves, or you've like, again, stepped up to that mark of like, I need to be my own best friend because no one else is right now. And that could be a lonely road. It can. But I feel like, with this transformation card here as well, we're not talking about that just yet, but I feel like you've been through a lot, you've transformed a lot, and you've kind of done it all on your own. I feel like for you guys, if this resonates, I feel like you've been going it alone for quite a bit. And I'm looking at, again, this cyclist card with how she's got that really long hair. It's kind of like, that's a testament to like, yeah, I've been doing this myself for so long, because, it's a bit of a standard thing, isn't it, that we go to like the hairdresser and stuff on a regular basis, but she's got this really long hair, and it's kind of like I'm sort of getting this sense of like perhaps you haven't socialized much, or you haven't had the opportunity to have those interactions with people on the levels that you've wanted to, or the levels that's been pleasing to you, or that's worked for you, that's, been on a loyal sense as well, because, dogs, are loyal. But I feel like, there's a lack here of this achievement of, I feel like your ancestors would like you to have perhaps a companion of some kind, someone so that you're not alone anymore, so that you're not going it alone, you're not going by yourself, someone to help lead the way as well, or someone to guide you in a sense, because I feel like some of you haven't had that either. Like there's been a sense of, I have to figure things out on my own, and I feel like I'm hearing too, it's almost like, gosh, the energy I'm hearing too, it's like, even if there were achievements, and there's been achievements that you've had and gone through, that it's kind of like there's been no one that you've had to celebrate it with. It's kind of like, well, that was great, congrats to me, but you kind of wanted to share it with other people. But I feel like for some of you, And I'm so sorry. I feel like there just hasn't been people that you've had to celebrate it with. Um, yeah. Wow. Okay. So, yeah, but I do feel like, your ancestors are concerned right now about perhaps a lack of socialization, a lack of people being around you, and you getting to have that connection with somebody else. Because, as I said, I do feel like you've been sort of doing it alone for a while. Um, and for some of you too, this could be a literal dog. Maybe your best friend is your dog, and you just haven't had that human interaction for quite some time. It's more being with pets and animals than it has with other humans. So yeah, but we do have the reliability as well here, and we have with the goat, and we have the transformation here as a confirmation. And I'm feeling like this is paired up with what I was talking about with the companionship. I feel like you guys have had to rely on yourselves a lot. I think you guys have had to go, you know what, no one else is here supporting me. No one else is here doing this with me or going through this with me, or no one's wanting to walk alongside me on my path or anything. So I've kind of had to do this myself, and I've had to rely upon myself. Um, and I'm seeing here just with this card, how we've got this little house in the woods with the snow and everything, and it just looks very isolated. And I feel like that's how you guys have felt, very isolated lately. And I do want to mention the pandemic because of course that can be a cause for some of this as well, because I all know we've been through lockdowns, we've been through situations where we've been literally forcibly separated from people, and I know that that's been a hard thing for people to deal with, and to recover from too, because some of us, now are in the recovery stages, somewhat of the pandemic, and learning to just sort of live with it, as they like to put it. And so we're having these opportunities to try and get out there more, and to be more in society, and to be more sociable. But it is a difficult thing when you've been stripped and pulled away from communicating with others for so long, or having those social interactions. And I do feel like, yeah, with this reliability, I think some of you guys have really had to rely on yourselves. And with this transformation, I feel like all the transformations and all the things that you've gone through have sort of been alone, and you've had to really sort of just do it yourself and focus on yourself. And yeah, gosh. And I feel like that's I just get this general sense from all these three cards that your ancestors just really are concerned right now that you just don't have anybody around you, and there's doesn't seem to be that support in an outer source, or there doesn't seem to be you getting any pleasure or any social interaction, right, with other people. And I think that's a concern right now for your ancestors. So yeah, that's what they're concerned about right now. So let's get into the next question, which is a more positive one. So let's get into that. Okay, so we're on to what your ancestors are happy about that's going on in your life right now, and what are they proud of. So we have, again, the three cards and the three clarifiers. So we have Songlines Orca with the number 30, breaks down, of course, to a 3. We have the Chance card clarifier with Darwin's Orchid. We have the Wisdom card with the number 4 with Owl. And we also have the clarifier, thank you ancestors, Wisdom again with Night Orchid. We also have the Power card here with Deer, number 11, breaking down to a 1. And then, of course, we have the card of Acceptance, Evening Primrose, as the clarifier. So, first of all, I want to talk about the Songlines card. this says a very heap of different things to me, and I don't have the book with me for this deck, so I am reading intuitively. But what I always get from this, the whales immediately make me think of family. So this already, I think, could be your ancestors, represent your ancestors. Maybe they are definitely, making themselves known. They're around you right now, and very much could be around you when you're dreaming of a nighttime. I feel like, they're reaching out to you. They're trying to send you messages. They're trying to get through to you with certain things. And with the song lines too, I kind of feel like, this is you sort of following your own path, I want to say, like writing your own story, writing your own song, just staying true to your sort of self, following your dreams, right? And we did have the card distant dream, didn't we? So the distance calls your heart to roam free. So as you dare dream it, so must it be. So again, this is, you're underwater. We've got the whales here in the water, so this could be another clue to a literal distance for some of you again. But also too, I feel like, this could be you guys in the dream state as well. Maybe you're having visitation dreams. Maybe you're connecting with others on another level. But also too, I feel like you guys, have a lot of dreams. You dream a lot too. And it doesn't have to be, when we sleep of a nighttime, this can be daydreams as well. And some of those daydreams too can actually manifest, believe it or not. We can manifest by simply daydreaming and things like that. So I feel like, even when we're sitting there and we're going, oh, imagine if this happened or that happened, and we think about it enough, that's actually starting to manifest in our lives. And we have the card here of chance, okay, with the Darwin's awkward. I said this last time. We got this card in another pile, and I said the exact same thing, Darwin's awkward. I don't know why. I think that's just maybe a tongue twister for me. But Darwin's awkward, guys, okay? So, yeah, with the chance card here, I feel like this is about you taking a chance on your dreams. Perhaps some of you have actually stepped out of your comfort zone a bit. You've actually taken a step towards your dreams, and your ancestors have seen that, and they're proud of that. For others of you, I think this is just a clue, like, to take a chance on those dreams, and that it's an acknowledgement here too. I think that your ancestors see these dreams. With the wisdom and the owl card here, as well as, of course, the second wisdom card is the clarifier. I think there's two things here. So I think your ancestors want to acknowledge that, you have gained a lot of wisdom through the things that you've gone through and the things that you've done, and they're proud of you for the knowledge that you've gained, for the wisdom that you do have. And, when we think of wisdom, I personally think of wisdom as, this is the knowledge that I have. Now I've done this, 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 and this, and this, and I've experienced. It's what comes from experience for me. And I don't always feel like it's that thing. People talk about different kinds of smarts. There's like street smart, book smart, all that kind of stuff. I don't really think wisdom sort of relates to that for me personally. I just see it as something of like learn by experience. This is something to where, and of course, we have the owl here, and that often makes us think of we often attribute sometimes to, like, for instance, elderly people and stuff, right? I mean, it's funny, you get these, and I actually saw one on YouTube the other day, and now I can't remember the exact title, but it was along the lines of, 80 plus years of wisdom, and these people talking about their life experiences and what they've learned, and wanting to pass that on. And it's that kind of a thing, and I think that you guys have really been through some stuff that have led you to gaining a lot of knowledge about yourself, about the outside world, your journey, all kinds of things. Yeah. And I also feel for others of you, this is knowledge and wisdom that your ancestors have that they want to pass on to you. And they may be trying to connect with you. They may be trying to reach you in your dreams with their song lines and orca card to pass on that information. They may have, sort of some clarity for you, some messages that, want to come through that can really help you to move on to your next phase in your life. And that could be to do as well with this chance card, taking a chance on those dreams that you have, taking a chance on yourself, on life. We also have the power card here with Dear, and we have acceptance down the bottom as well. So I think, this is your ancestors praising you for, stepping into your power. I feel like you guys, like I said before, you've gone it alone quite a bit in your life. You've been your own best friend, all right? You've been, you've had to rely on yourself. And I feel like, because of all that, you guys have really found the power within yourself. And congratulations for that, because that is an amazing a point to get to. And, I do feel like there's a level of acceptance there within you where it's like, I've accepted that this is who I am. These are the strengths that I have. This is what I'm capable of. All those kinds of things. I think you've really discovered what it is that you have that works for you, and that's, your strengths and like I said, your abilities, your talents, what it is about you, the essence of you, right? There's been an acceptance there of an understanding of the power that you really have within yourself. Yeah. Yeah, great. I don't know that I feel that I need to say anything more about this. Is there anything else that wants to come through? I'm kind of just seeing how there's these two ladies here, the one on the wisdom card and the one on the power card, where they both in sort of like evening gowns. They've got the long flowy hair. Some of you might want to some of your dreams might be performing or doing some kind of where you're showing yourself. There's a sense of making a presence known to people. So I feel like that might be something for some of you guys, and that might be something you're working towards. For others of you, well, in that same vein, for some of you too, you might want to be a singer. You might actually, have some songs that you want to put out there into the world. So that's something else there as well. Yeah, great. Let's move on to the next question. Okay, guys. So the question we have asked is, what is an upcoming challenge that your ancestors would like to acknowledge, make you aware of, talk about? And the card we got, the main card here, is Compassion with Emerald. And that is clarified with the Soul Awakening card as well as the Reflection card. So there's two things I'm feeling here. Of course, this is a general reading, so I'm going to talk about both scenarios. One is that I feel you guys needing to offer yourself a little bit more compassion moving forward. And I feel like for some of you, we've already talked about you guys sort of having to be loyal to yourselves, your best friend, relying on yourself. But I still feel like even so, sometimes we don't always give ourselves that compassion and self-love and things that we, are deserving of, right? And even it's that compassion for what we've gone through. Sometimes too we are prone to down talking to ourselves and not acknowledging our achievements and what we've gone through and showing ourselves that compassion. So for some of us, I feel like it's a bit of a reflection period, where it's like, yeah, you may be needing to realize where it is that you need to give yourself more compassion in your life. And with the Soul Awakening card, this is a time where, of spiritual growth for you guys. I feel like you've already been on that journey somewhat so far. And, this is a continuation of that. And so as your soul is awakening more and more, the more there's that need to give yourself that compassion, that love. And with the reflection also, this can be, a bit of a self-discovery thing as well. As your soul is awakening, it's a bit more of an understanding of self, looking at yourself in a reflective state in that mirror and seeing, who you truly are, and understanding more about yourself, but pairing that with that compassion. For others of you too, this could be compassion coming from an outer source, but because I feel like you guys have sort of gone it alone for quite some time, this may be a hard thing for you guys to accept and come to terms with compassion coming from outer sources and from other people. And so I feel like, that can be a difficult thing, and perhaps, yes, a challenge for you guys to accept compassion coming from outer sources, and maybe finally getting, that love and care and support and things that you've needed from outer sources, but you've had to turn to yourself for. And now perhaps for some of you it's coming from other people, and it might be a bit of a difficult thing to take because you've been so used to not having that for so long. And, again, this could be all a part of this soul journey, this soul awakening, this, spiritual awakening, this transformation within yourself. We've got the medicine pouch here too. So this is part of that healing journey for some of you. This is part of, soul retrieval, I'm hearing. Yeah. We have the number 28 too, which breaks down to a 10. Again, that's a 1. 2 and 2 is, of course, 22, of course, is 4. Again, that talks about family. I always think that that's, another clue to, your ancestors there. Working with amethyst too might be something for you guys at this time, of course, as well as the emerald. But amethyst is going to, obviously, it's that direct connection as well to spirit. It's going to help you on your soul awakening path. Yeah, I feel like this is more of a self-discovery as well. Just keep going deeper, delving deeper into who you are, but having that love and compassion for yourself along the way. And this may be a challenging time. This may be a difficult thing to go through. And I often think with this reflection card, it makes me think of sometimes shadow work as well, because we're here in the dark, right? And there's this little bit of light coming through here, but also, and I've mentioned this in one of my readings, I don't know how many pick cards ago, but anyways, you'll know if you've heard it before, but it's that thing. If anyone has seen The Never-Ending Story, and I didn't get this as a kid, I did not understand this at all, but for those of you that haven't seen this movie, essentially there's this mystical world called Fantasia, and it's trapped inside like a storybook. When people read it, they actually get involved in the world. Like it's a special book that actually puts you in the world, and everyone that reads it gets a different story. But this little boy takes it from a bookstore, and he starts becoming immersed in this world. And the story goes so far as that the world has been taken over, which was once a beautiful world, by this thing called the Nothing. And it's this like dark energy that's just coming in, and it's just taking over everything. And gradually all the pieces of Fantasia, which is the world, is falling apart. And they don't know what to do to try and save this world. And so all the people that are a part of the world that live there, they call upon this guy Atreyu, who is a young kid himself, but he is known as the brave warrior. He is this guy that's just uh, incapable of, defeat and failure and everything. He's just, he's just the go-to guy. And so they appoint him to try and defeat the Nothing and to save Fantasia. And there is a scene in it where he has to go through these gates in order to get to where he's needing to get to. And it all sounds very mystical, but the first gate, he manages to pass through. I'm not going to explain about the gates really, but he gets on, and then the second gate he passes through, and there's been knights in shining armor literally that he watched try and go through these gates, and they didn't make it. And so he finally gets to the third part of, his sort of like tests, if you will, initiations, I don't know what you want to call it. And it's basically him faced with a mirror. So he sees himself in the mirror and he screams and he runs away. And I never understood that as a kid, but I get it now, because he'd been told by everybody that he was this brave warrior, that he was, he couldn't be defeated, that he was the only one that could stop the Nothing, and all this stuff. And so he really believed that in himself. He was told that so much, and okay, I'm this person. But when he got to the mirror showed the real him. And the truth of the matter was, despite what everyone else had said, he was actually quite the coward. He felt scared deep down inside, and he wasn't sure if he could beat the Nothing. He wasn't sure if he could move forward, if he had the courage and the bravery to do what needed to be done. And so he screams and he runs away because he doesn't want to be faced with this version of himself, which is actually, more to the truth of who he is. But he, he's been built up so long by everybody else of how he's this big brave warrior. So I do feel like sometimes with this reflection, that's a challenge, in the sense of, yes, we may come across some realizations of parts of ourselves that we don't necessarily like, but it's that shadow work that we often have to go through, and it's hard and it's difficult, and that's more important. That's why it's really important too, during that time, to have that compassion with ourselves and offer that up, because this can be a challenging time to go through, and that's exactly what we're talking about, the challenges that are ahead. So that's the challenge part, guys. We're going to move on to the next. Okay, so we're on to your blessings, the blessings that your ancestors want to make you aware of that's coming in the near future, or what's already happening right now for you. There's a blessing in the present, could be, but we've got the main card, Diopte's Heart Healing. We got that clarified by Initiation and Divine Feminine. So this is sort of closing out a cycle. I feel like you guys are finally coming to that point where your heart is going to be healed, and this has come from a lot of, I feel like, work from yourself. Again, this going it alone, this journey, and giving yourself what we talked about previous with the compassion, right? Giving yourself that compassion. And again, for some of you, it can come from an outer source, in which case I feel like that has also attributed to this heart healing. But that's the next blessing that's coming in for you guys, healing the heart. And, we do have the Divine Feminine here as well. So, of course, the Divine Feminine talks about the heart space and emotions. So I feel like too, this is you guys sort of like going through the motions to get to this heart healing. So it's like you've given in to source, you've given in to the ways of the universe, to the flow, right? And you're just allowing yourself to feel, to be, and that's made you come to this point of healing the heart. And of course, with the Initiation card here, I do feel like you guys were possibly put through a bit of an initiation. You might have felt like this is what this journey has felt like to you, of going it sort of on your own and really being your own best friend and relying on yourself. It's set you up for this. I feel like this final I want to say like the Wealth card, in the tarot, it's like that completion. It's that it's coming to the end of, like, I can finally put this to rest now. We've completed this cycle. We've learnt what we came here to learn, and we did talk about wisdom before, right? So I feel like, you guys have learnt a lot. You've really done the work. You've stepped up to the plate, I feel like, with this initiation card for sure. Yeah, spirits kind of, sorry, your ancestors are showing me, like, yeah. It's kind of that. Did anyone see Meet the Parents? And this is probably coming from my dad, by the way, because both my parents are passed, but we loved the movie Meet the Parents. It was really funny, and there's a scene in Meet the Parents. Well, they do reference it. They go back to it, but basically, if anyone's seen this film, it's basically about a guy who is in love with his girlfriend. He wants her to be fiance, and he's about to propose to her when. And I'm spoiling this movie, guys, just so you know. So spoiler alert. But basically, he wants to propose to her, and he has this plan. And just as he's attempting to propose, she gets a phone call from her sister and finds out that her sister's actually just gotten engaged. And when she gets off the phone, she says, "Well, now we have to, go to my parents' place, who he hasn't met yet." And she said, "Because we're now a part of the wedding, or I'm a part of the wedding, and blah blah blah." And she said, "I'm so glad that my sister's fiance knew to ask my dad for his permission, because there's no way that my dad would let anybody, marry anyone without his permission." And so all of a sudden he freaks out and he realizes, like, oh crap, okay. So he, sort of abandons the proposal, and they take this trip and they go to her parents' house, and it ends up in disaster. Like, from the get-go, when he got there, things just did not turn out well, and he's not doing a good job at impressing the potential father-in-law, and so played by Robert De Niro, and he's very funny in the movie. But he has this theory of, like, what he calls the circle of trust, and it's basically this thing that everybody is in the family, and they're in this circle of trust, and you have to work really hard to get yourself into the circle of trust, and there is a point in the movie where he basically says, I'm inviting you in, you're in the circle of trust. And then, of course, more unfortunate things happen, and Greg, this is the guy I'm talking about, gets out of the circle of trust. You're out of the circle of trust now, but he does eventually manage to bring himself back into the circle of trust. But it's almost like that thing. It's like we've seen you put in the effort now, and you're in. I'm just hearing this word, you're in. So yeah. So I feel like Spirit's seen that you've really put the effort in, and you may have gone through some tests, and they may have been divinely orchestrated, and maybe not. Maybe you've had to go through some things that may have been unfair, that may have, put you on a different course, but you've gone through it, you've done it, and now you're on to this heart healing. You're coming to the completion of this cycle and stepping more into your power, into this divine feminine. And, again, with the moon here too, with the moon cycles, I feel like you're working with that as well energetically, and just going with the flow. So I feel like that's a lovely blessing to come through, because you're coming out the other end now more healed, feeling more confident in yourself, feeling more self-aware, and just, more whole. I feel like more whole. I don't really like saying whole in this. I was going to say it in another sense. But yeah, feeling more just yourself and who you are at the core, and just feeling really in tune and in touch with that is what I'm trying to say. So that's really fantastic, guys. So that is the blessing that is coming through for you. Yeah, and I'm seeing here with the initiation card, there's two balls that are coming out. It's like, yeah, we threw you some curveballs, but you had a good swinging arm, and you really hit it out of the park. So I'm kind of hearing that for some of you. So you might be into sports or something like that. But it's like that kind of thing. But you've done it, you've gotten through, and you've made it. You're making it out the other end now, guys. So this is the blessing coming through, that completion of this cycle, that heart healing, and just feeling really good within yourself. So that's really, really great. Okay, guys, so we are on to the final card of advice for you guys. Just one card because these are very in-depth and I am going to be reading straight from the book. So you guys got 35, Pearl of Shadow. Taking responsibility for your experiences empowers you. You are going to resolve an issue through spiritual inspiration and higher guidance. You will rise up in full connection to your spirit and access a wealth of divine treasure. That which has brought darkness into your world shall submit to the light and be transformed. Have courage and commitment to your awakening, for you are a precious being and can go far on the spiritual path this lifetime. Sharo is a Tibetan word meaning to arise or manifest and shine with radiant spiritual light. Sharo is the outcome of sacred alchemy. It is the manifestation of the pearl beyond price, created in the depths of the ocean, hidden away in a clamshell, away from prying eyes. This pearl symbolizes a beautiful blessing of unexpected grace. It began when an irritant caused the formation of a luminescent coating. The healing response to that initial intrusion resulted in an organic creation of inestimable beauty, value, and uniqueness. So this pearl can be a sacred catalyst. To arise spiritually, manifesting one's own priceless soul pearl, we are required to respond to an initially unwanted situation in such a way that our soul light and power is increased as a result. This soul alchemy evokes the inner pearl of radiant being. Such spiritual wisdom cannot be bought or sold, controlled, nor exploited. It is perfect, nourishing grace, always free, radiant, and with light. It is the inspirational triumph of creativity and healing. In the inner work of self-transformation, we take that which appears negative and utilize it to increase our goodness. However, we need to take care not to attribute the negatives to divine will that are actually caused by humans. Human beings have free will. Without it, there could be no growth, only a following of rules. For the soul, life is something like a multi-dimensional art class. It is allowed to create with absolute freedom, with the understanding that it will be responsible for its creations. That opens the path for truly beautiful, blessed offerings to the collective. It also opens the path to expressions of free will that create suffering. Whether our choices create liberation or enslavement to pain is the responsibility of human beings. This body has been given to us that we may learn and grow spiritually. We are all in that process, varying in our capabilities and awareness, but ultimately progressing together. If some members of our human family are in such pain, they can only create further pain. That is their choice. As a group, we work to heal the causes of that pain, to free them and the rest of us from such a tragic use of free will. When rare and precious members of our human family develop such a luminous awareness that exuding light, they call us into greater peace and happiness. Then those of us who are able to receive and share what they offer do so for the benefit of all. From a deeply pained place of confusion, some souls cry out in anger towards the divine, wondering why there is disease and suffering and cruelty on this planet. We need to understand the difference between taking an ego-created situation and working with it so that it can become divine and believing the ego-created situation was divine to begin with. Spirit does not wish you or any other creature to become sick or to suffer. In its infinite resourcefulness and love, with full respect for your free will, which enables you to grow according to your own pace and purpose. Spirit will provide path after path of healing resolution. It is up to us when or if we answer that call. This oracle has emerged in your reading because you have a capacity to become a light bearer. Safeguard your energy, yet trust that the light within is strong enough to see you through any struggle and eventually transform it into a precious pearl of sacred empowerment. You have wisdom in your divinely alchemical heart. You shall arise with dignity. And ending that off with a ringing in my ear from your ancestors. So they are agreeing with that there. So I really hope that was helpful for you guys. I hope that resonated. That was your message today. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you enjoy my channel and my energy. If you have already subscribed, welcome back. Thanks for being a part of the family. I will see you next time on the next reading, guys. Take care. Blessed be.